I'm Lisa K. Donner, along with Jeff Charles, Sarah Calgill, Tim Donner, and Andrew Moran. And this is the Conservative Five, Liberty Nation's online TV news program. And now a special segment of C5 exclusively for our MemberZone subscribers. The toughest job in the world is not being the leader of the free world. Presidents have folks waking them up, grocery shopping, cooking, picking out their necktie for the day. Nope. The president is easy compared to being press secretary. Jen Psaki is finding out just how much fun the job is as reporters are beginning to tire of her non-answered questions. She often uses terminology like, "Let me circle back with you." Now she's taking a hit for asking reporters to provide her with questions in advance. Somebody give this girl a briefing book. Sarah, you've been in the press secretary hot seat for the mayor of the fifth largest city in the country. Do you have empathy for Ms. Psaki or any other press secretary of the last few administrations? And by the way, I did not know you were press secretary.
Yeah, it's got to be the hardest job in the world, and I'll tell you why. It's you're the middleman, and so your candidate or your elected official tells you, here's where we stand and here's our goal, and then somebody corners him and he changes his mind after you just deliver, the statement of the administration. And I don't have any empathy for Jen Psaki because it doesn't even look like she's trying. She called Senator Lindsey Graham, basically a homo. And I thought, are you flipping kidding me? All within 2 weeks. This girl has no idea, no briefing book. She's not prepared. She just says, let me circle back. I don't have empathy. Now, I do have empathy for a couple other, and one would be Sean Spicer. I mean, he would be delivering the administration talks, and all of a sudden, Trump's tweeting out a whole different line of answers. The poor guy didn't stand a chance. He ended up on Dancing with the Stars. That could tell you how stressed out he was. And then the other one, Dee Dee Myers, working for Clinton, she ended up kind of steering into the skid of the drink and got a DUI before her time was up. So it's not a fun job. It's a tough dang job. And I think people should cycle out of that job every 18 months to 24 months.
I think of Sean Spicer, and I think of Sean Spicer particularly on inaugural day and the day after in 2017, where Donald Trump, the new president, newly minted president, was claiming that his crowds at the inaugural were bigger than those of Obama. And he kept asserting it in the media.
It looked like a million and a half people.
Setting the pace for the 4 years to come, challenged it and called him a liar. And they put Sean Spicer on the spot because the pictures all showed that there were more people there for Obama's than there were for Trump's. You could see the photos from the air. And yet Sean Spicer had to try and explain away the statement by Trump when the reporters were pressing him.
It was the most watched inaugural. When you look at just the one network alone got 16.9 million people online. Another couple of the networks, there were tens of million people that watched that online. Never mind the audience that was here. 31 million people watched it on television. Combine that with the tens of millions of people that watched it online on a device. It's unquestionable.
And Sean Spicer just wasn't ready for a guy like Donald Trump because he's an establishment Republican from the Washington, D.C. swamp. And Donald Trump is an entirely new experience for him.
Jeff.
Yeah, I am going to go with Sarah Huckabee Sanders because I just loved the way she would smack down Jim Acosta, another CNN media activist. And the incident that I'm thinking of is when Trump had said that the fake news is the enemy of the people, and then the activist media was trying to pretend like he said all the press is the enemy of the people. So Jim Acosta tried to push her on that, and he even tried to push her to name outlets and say, "Well, would you say that about CNN?" And she avoided naming outlets, and she did her job and clarified that he said fake news, people spreading fake stories. And then finally, she just said, well, you know what? Your outlet promoted this lie and promoted that lie, blamed Trump for Cesar Sayoc's fake pipe bombs.
I think it's irresponsible of a news organization like yours to blame responsibility of a pipe bomb.
So I love the way she wasn't afraid to go at him, and we need more of that going forward.
All right, I have one. You have to love the look on Josh Earnest's face as his Obama briefing is interrupted by this.
Is the president upset that he couldn't get even one Republican perhaps to sign? Sorry, I'm not sure what you want me to
Okay. So that's basically Big Brother or Big Sister. Just listening to everything you have to say and repeating it. And that even means in the White House briefing room. What do you got, Andrew?
Well, I'm going to say that the kids these days have nothing on Jody Powell. He was the press secretary in the Jimmy Carter years. And, after each press conference, he'd hop on a payphone to clarify the record and talk to reporters and saying, this is what Jimmy Carter said. This is what he plans to do. He actually conveyed the message of President Carter, no matter how much of a disaster of a president he was. So, the press secretary these days, they can use their smartphones and go on Twitter and use their computers and sit in their nice, comfortable office. But Jody Powell, he shined his leather shoes and hopped on a payphone, those dirty little payphones with all the people's disgusting germs and COVID-19.
All right, but one final word. My favorite press secretary of all has to be Tony Snow, God rest his soul. Snow was named White House press secretary in the George W. administration, replacing Scott McClellan, a competent press secretary, a stellar human being, and someone who left us much too young at age 53. Well, I hope our MemberZone subscribers have enjoyed this extra segment. I know I have. Thanks to our panel, Andrew Moran, Tim Donner, Sarah Cowgill, Jeff Charles, all joining me today on Liberty Nation's Conservative 5. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform, YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble, we're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all our TV productions. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember to surf on over to libertynation.com. And remember, liberty all the time and everywhere.